Hello and welcome back to my dandelion diaries. We're going to be setting up Q4 today, which is insane. So I am using the same stamps that I have been using for my previous quarters. I will have them linked in the description. They are the number stamps in like the serif type font, just some standard like typewriter like alphabet stamps. These ones I don't think are the same ones I have linked, but they're pretty common now. I think you can get them from many places. I know you can get them at Stationery Pal too. And then just some full length script monthlies. And those look like this up here minus the highlight. So I am just going to continue on with the same stuff that I have been using. You could use stickers, whatever you like. This is just what I like to use. And we are also going to be talking about trackers because I get so many questions about my trackers on here. So we'll be talking a little bit about that too. But I'm going to stick a book under this because this book, like the common planner itself, is really thick. So other supplies is going to be a 𝗪𝘂𝗪𝐺 black stamp ink pad. And then I have some Coffee Monsters Co. button stickers over here, which is what I've been using to track stats at the top. And I'm going to continue that because why not? All right, so getting started here, I'm going to take a Tombow Food Nosuke brush pen in the soft tip and write quarter up at the top. All right, I think I do this every time. I have a problem when I do lettering on camera because I have to do it so far away from my face. So my lettering on camera never looks the same as like my lettering off camera. So I apologize if my letters are wonky looking. But yeah, so we're going to do that. And then I'm going to take my ink pad here. It's almost time for a new one. And we're just gonna stamp 4 right there. And then after that, I'm gonna go ahead and do my priorities section. And what I basically do in my priority section is anything that I need to list out for the quarter. I actually have debated on sectioning this into like a priority section and then a review section, but for now I'm just going to stick with priorities, and then maybe in 2024 I'll play with like a little review section. But typically I'll put down like 3 to 5 things in this section that are like priorities for this quarter. Like I need to get these things done or accomplished, or this is a serious goal that I'm working towards. And when I look back at the end of the quarter, I can relook at those things and be like, okay, I either did it or I didn't, and I need to move it to the next quarter. So yeah. Next, I'm going to go ahead and take my monthly stamps here, and I'm going to do on this side and then also on this side because they're the same. I still can't believe we are almost to the end of the year. It is crazy how fast 2023 has flown by. Or maybe it just feels that way and it actually went really slow, but since we're busier, like I don't know. Maybe if we're busier, the time flies faster versus if we're, I guess, bored, the time goes slower. I don't know. It's an interesting concept time. I'm going to let that dry down for a second, and then I'm going to talk about trackers. So I get a lot of questions about these two trackers, and I made a video a while ago about how I actually do the tracking on this, but this is kind of a workhorse of a combination between like my health planner and then also habits that I like to track also in my health planner. So I start usually with sleep, mood, and stress, which in my health planner, it looks a lot like this. So I have it in the same position every month. So when I flip to that page, I can see, you know, the same data over and over again, and I can compare it versus like in this type of format, I literally can see 3 months worth at once and look if I have any trending options or anything that I'm doing consistently. Like, one thing that I can always note is that whenever I'm really stressed out, I usually sleep really badly, which I think is a pretty common denominator for that. Or versus when I'm really low stress, I sleep really well. So I think it just depends. And then sometimes it's total opposites. Like this day I was in a really bad mood, but everything else was fine. Like I wasn't stressed or anything. But in this day I was in a really bad mood and I wasn't stressed or lacking any sleep or anything here too. So maybe that's a common consistency between my mood. It doesn't necessarily affect my stress or my sleep. So that's mainly why I do mood, sleep, stress, just because it's interesting information to me about myself. And then as for tracking over here, we're going to set one of these up today for October. I like to track various habits. So that's the same thing as like what would be on these sheets on this side. So I obviously can fit a whole lot more options in a week's size page versus a column like this on the common planner. But this is a lot more information and this would be like more generic information. So here on my weeks, I have fruit, veggies, coffee, you know, am I brushing my teeth? Or flossing my teeth? Like whatever. Versus over here, I'm like, okay, did I eat vegetables in general? Did I have caffeine? Did I meditate? Did I exercise? Like this is a much more broad spectrum habit tracker versus this is more like nitty gritty information that is pretty unique, I guess, to me, or whoever would want to make something like this. It would be very unique to you what you would want to track if you even wanted to track this many things. So small spectrum, broad spectrum. But let's get back into Q4. So the next thing I'm going to do here is actually set up the little graphs on this side. So with that, I'm going to be using a gray Staedtler fine liner, and then I have a pen somewhere that I was using. Okay, sorry. I just wanted to use my 𝗪𝗏𝗄𝗃 because it's bolder, so when I make the dots, they stand out a little bit better. Okay, so I'm going to take a straight ruler here, and I'm going to reference the previous quarter because I don't remember how many spacing I did, but it looks like I left 2 spaces at the top and 2 spaces at the bottom and 4 spaces in. And this ruler is just from the Coffee Monsters Co. It's one of her older rulers. I think she said she was gonna come out with more, but we shall see. Okay, and then for the month of October and December, we have 31 days, and then November is 30 days. So let me look at that spacing. Okay, so I think I just drew the line all the way to the end. We'll just do that, that's fine. So I have a funny story when it comes to rulers. When I was in grade school, my science teacher was trying to teach us the proper way to use a ruler. So she always said you have to go at it where the ruler is straight, horizontal in front of you, and you have to move the paper whichever way to get the correct line. And it's funny because I just did the ruler this way and then upside down, and I'm wondering if my grade school education was even worth it at this point because I don't even use a ruler the proper way, but it's still a straight edge, so I don't know. Okay, so I'm going to leave that for a second, and then we're going to set up the stats up here at the top. I just like to keep track of my progress on YouTube, Instagram, and then I was using my pencil as kind of like any posts I would do but I think I'm going to change that up to be more like, I don't know, maybe like finance type stuff. We'll take a break from, I'm still going to put the pencil down, but I don't know what exactly I'm going to be using it for yet. Okay, so starting with Instagram at the top. These buttons by Helen are really nice because they fit in the 4 squares. And I actually plan on making my own, not Instagram, YouTube, or pencils, but my own type of button stickers like this. So they will fit in the 3.7 millimeter grid. So stay tuned for that on, I think, Sunday. This video should go up before then. So while I do this, I want to talk about my recent following on Instagram. You guys have surprised me every turn, it seems. I'm beyond grateful. I had no idea this would be the way it has been at all. So I want to say thank you to everybody who is following me on Instagram. If you watch my YouTube videos as well, that's amazing. I reached 1,000 followers last Sunday, and I'm speechless. I was not expecting to, look at my phone and see that, and just, it was a moment where it was just kind of like, whoa, 1,000 people. Kind of like with YouTube. I mean, you guys all surprised me here too. I never expected to grow this fast. I created this channel as like a creative outlet for myself to share my spreads because I love watching other people's videos, and I had the time, so I figured why not share my own and see what happens. And now I had dreams of, opening my own shop and everything, and that is becoming so much more like a reality by the minute. And the fact that you all are here with me experiencing it it's wild, and I just want to say thank you. So just thank you for all the support you guys have been giving me. It's been unreal. Okay, so after that, I'm going to go ahead and do the trackers on this side. So I'm going to start, I think I've been putting them on, the spaces. So I'm going to just number them 1 through 31, 1 through 30, and then 1 through 31, and then we'll fast forward to the next clip. Okay, so now that all of those numbers are down, I'm going to do the side over here. So this is where I rank it basically from 0 to 10, but I like to leave enough space at the top so I can track the phase of the moon, my menstrual cycle, date nights, veggies, star moments, anything like that. So I think I was doing it every 2. So I think I started from the bottom and I did 2, 4, 6, 8, and then 10. So it should take up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 squares total, and then it should be 5 lines, and that should leave me enough space at the top to write in the moon phases. And if you're ever worried about smudging your writing, you can lay a piece of notebook paper down, which is what this is. I'm more worried about the transfer on the other side of the page right now versus smudging this, because my Klenna actually dries pretty well on the new 𝗤𝗏 paper. Okay, and then after that, I am going to reference my moon information. So I've talked about this planner a little bit on this channel already. I don't use this every day anymore. I think it's just too much planner for what I would want to write in it, and the entry spaces are really small. So I think this would be good for like gratitude, or if you wanted to make like daily notes on something, but this is too small for what I originally wanted to use this for. So I haven't really used it as a planner per se, but I do reference the astrological information in it all the time. So if you haven't heard of this book, it is called The Magic of Eye Planner. They are currently on pre-order, I believe. I don't know, the pre-order may have already ended, but you can get this, and it has all of the aspectorial information for astrology or astronomy, and I think it's super cool. It even has information about like mushrooms and plants and the different moon phases, zodiac signs. This is a wealth of information in this thing, and I truly I love this company. I'm sad that I didn't really finish using this planner, but I don't know. We'll see what happens in the next month or so if I order another one. Anyways, so I'm going to reference the moon information on this and only the major phases. So that's going to be things like the full moon, the quarter moons, and then the new moons. So I'm going to put that down on the planner here on the top. So for reference, this is what I did the last couple of months. So you can just see, like, I put the moon phases here like this. And the whole point of that is basically my own reference to see if my sleep is affected by the moon or my menstrual cycle, or, you know, maybe I do certain things certain times of the month that make, like, coincide with the moon phase. I don't know. It's just kind of an interesting concept to me. So I'm tracking it to see what it's like, if it even has any kind of, you know, pull on my situation. So yeah, we're just gonna leave it at that. But so I'm gonna reference this, so it'll probably be off camera to the side because I can't put 2 A5 size books on the screen because it's a lot of book. So yeah, but the position of these is 1 space down from the main delineating line already in the planner. So that is where I'm going to be putting down the little circles, which would be for the moons. So the 3rd quarter is going to be October 6th. And the way that the Magic of Eye Planner has it is basically the colored in space is the actual direction the moon is facing, and then the open space is no moon. But in my planner, I like to have the white be where the moon is. So that's probably going to be confusing, but if you wanted to do this yourself, I would hope you would use whatever information you needed to make sure that you are making it accurate for yourself. The new moon is going to be on the 14th, and then the 1st quarter is going to be on the 21st. And then our full moon, which is the hunter's moon, is going to be on the 28th. All right, so that is all of the moon phases for the 3 months. I'm going to leave that like that. And then I do want to put my key on here. Did I do it for last month? I didn't. Okay, so I did it for quarter 2, but I didn't do it for quarter 3 for some reason. So I'm going to just put my key up here just so I can reference it myself. And I am going to use the notebook paper for this because those will take longer to dry, I am sure. But I like to make my sleep a solid line, my stress kind of like a dashed line, and then my mood just a little dotted line. And that way I can still use 1 pen versus having to have a multi-pen or 3 colors and it all looks a little bit more uniform. I think it would look cool if it was like 3 different colors, but then I'd have to carry more pens with me. And then the only multi-pens I have are ballpoint and they're not as bold as I would want this to be. But okay, so we're done with this side of the page. I'm not going to do anything else for now. I'm going to wait for my priorities because I still have about at the time of me filming this, I still have a few days left in September to kind of get my priorities straight and move on from the ones from the month before, which I need to update anyways. So once I update that and figure out what I need to continue into quarter 4, then I will write my priorities up there. But for now, I'm done with the left side of the page and we will move on to the right side. So this is where I'm going to kind of do my little tracking habits up here, but first I have to write in all of the little dates. So the way I do this is I do 1 through 31 or 1 through 30 first. So I put like the number first, and then I will reference the start of the date of the week. So for instance, July started on a Saturday, and then August started on a Tuesday, and then September started on a Friday. So I will reference that information and then write down all the way down. So like 1 through 31, October starts on October starts on a Sunday. So I would start this with Sunday and then go Monday through blah, 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 and ending with the 31st, which is on a Tuesday. And then for November, it would start on a Wednesday and then go all the way through the 30th, ending on a Thursday, so on and so forth. So I'm going to just do that really quick because it's a very tedious process. And I don't know if you guys want to watch me writing out a bunch of teeny tiny little numbers and letters. So I will see you in a second. All right, that is done. And just so you know, I think it's kind of cool that December ends on a Sunday. So we will have January 1st starting on a Monday. So it'll be like a first on a first on a first, which is so cool to me. But also, if you know the date, so it would be 12/31/23. And it's basically 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And I think that is so cool. And now I kind of want to like celebrate on New Year's Eve 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 or something. I don't know. That sounds like such a funny way to celebrate a holiday, but that's what we're going for. Okay, so let's go ahead and set up the habits that I'm going to track up here. I am going to go ahead and lay down that sheet again just so I can rest my hand on it. And I'm going to zoom you guys in really, really, really close. So hopefully you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so I basically am going to dedicate these spaces here to what I want to track. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 spaces. And I have really been enjoying using a little doodle of an icon or whatever for each of those spaces. So I am going to designate different sections here. So I'm going to start off with a tiny book because I have really been trying to get back on my reading game, and I did really good for a few months and then really bad for a few months. So that's a really terrible doodle, and it's probably because I'm on camera, but whatever. So it's a rectangle for a book, we'll say that. And then the next thing I really have been enjoying tracking is my language practice. So I kind of wanted to do a little megaphone for that. And then I also have been tracking our eating out habits. So if I wanted to eat out, I want to make sure that I'm documenting how many days in a row we're eating out. Are we eating out like majority of the month, whatever. So ultimately this column I would want to be pretty empty because I do prefer when we eat at home. But I'm going to draw a tiny little burger. Reminds me of a Krabby Patty, honestly. And then after that, I'm going to go ahead and track my water intake. So I try to drink at least a gallon of water a day. That I know that probably seems like a lot for some people. I drink a lot of water. I prefer to drink water, honestly. I still drink plenty of coffee, tea, soda, everything else. I really like the refreshing feel of being hydrated. So I drink a lot of water, and we're just going to leave it at that. The next thing I want to track is my meditation practice. So I've been trying to get better about meditating at least 10 minutes a day. So this is kind of like a little cup with some, I don't know, some like at the top of it. Yeah, we'll go with that. Yeah, and then I've been tracking my walks. So I also have a goal to walk at least every single day, or if I can't walk every day, at least most of the days. So I put like a couple little shoe prints there. And then I also have been wanting to go to the gym more, which has been a very constant battle, especially with everything going on and on our little farm, I guess. So going to the gym is not always happening, which is a problem. So that is also a continued marker that I try to keep track of, which some months I do better and others I do terribly. The next thing I track here is my vegetable intake. So I just do a little leaf. Could be like a spinach leaf, salad leaf, whatever you want to call that. And then I also have been tracking my dairy consumption. I typically have dairy every day, although I did get to a point where I was having no dairy at all. I have no aversions to dairy or anything. I guess I feel like I consume a lot of it between milk, yogurt, cottage cheese, creamer, butter, etc. I eat a lot of dairy, so I like to see, I guess, if I have days that I don't eat it, which is interesting to me. It's a unique marker for me, I guess. And then the last box here, I just mark with a little coffee cup, and this is for caffeine purposes. So if I have caffeine that day, I actually have a goal to be caffeine free, but I have not succeeded clearly at all. I have plenty of coffee right here. So yeah, there's that. The caffeine marker isn't necessarily for anything specific. It's just something I'm keeping track of. I'm not trying to quit caffeine for any health reasons. I want to see what life would be like without it, and if maybe it would help, I guess, with anxiety. So maybe it is kind of health related. Anyways, we're going to leave it at that. So that is pretty much it for the habits up here. I do change these up by month, so I'm not going to fill out the rest of the months over here. We're just going to leave it only for October for now. And then if I decide to change what I'm tracking, I will make new icons for those things. All right, so the last thing that I would typically do for this quarterly section is this little box down here. The previous month, I have been doing a small doodle in whatever colors I have chosen for that month. I still think my May tulips are my favorite, but I started this way in April and just have continued on making a different doodle every single month. But I think for October, like for this last quarter, I may change this up. So I don't have exact thoughts yet on what I want to do. I've narrowed it down to like, I guess 3 options. So I could continue the doodle, option 1. Option 2 is I can do what I do in my 𝗧𝗵𝐵𝐶𝗵𝗃 cousin, which is memories. So top 3 memories. And then option 3 are related more to, I guess, like my sticker shop. So I kind of wanted to make like a continued design of like maybe something I would sell eventually as like a little doodle banner. But I haven't really decided. So that's why I'm waiting to do this bottom piece here. But y'all will get to see it obviously when it happens. But that's what we're going to go with for now. I think that's going to be it in terms of setting up quarter 4. Let me know if you have any questions about anything I did that I didn't already cover, and I will try to help you out as best I can. I do want to say that for 2024, I am not going to be continuing this style of quarter pages in my comment planner. So I just want to put that out there now. This will not be in my A5 comment planner. It'll be somewhere else. So there's that. I'm going to change this up for 2024. But I think for now, I'm going to end it here. And I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Stay tuned for updates about any new shop updates. I will have most of that over on my Instagram, so make sure y'all are following me over there. And again, thank you so much for y'all's support. I mean, 1,000 followers, 2,000 subscribers now. I'm beyond myself with how fast this has grown. But I'm very, very thankful. So yeah, there's just thank you so much, and I'm gonna stop rambling, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.